Hey, we want to get to breaking news of another pursuit this evening. This one is on the 210 freeway, though the upper pursuit this evening. This one is on the 210 freeway, though the upper graphic says we're on the 5 southbound, but we'll double check all that. LA County deputies followed a driver wanted for DUI driving what we're being told is a maroon Dodge Charger.
Yeah, I'm hearing from our desk. They're getting some info from the scanner. It's possibly has, or at one point had blacked out its lights there. We know that CHP has now taken over this pursuit. And take a look. Speeds, I don't think those speeds are correct, but this vehicle is going pretty quickly. I think it's behind this semi-truck here. You'll see it in just a moment. It's that maroon Charger that's creeping up right there all the way in the right-hand lane. And yeah, we are on the 5 South near the Lincoln Heights area.
You already see the traffic is a little crammed there just for a bit as it's sort of maneuvering. This vehicle's maneuvering all over the place. And quite the contrast from the earlier pursuit we had where it was on surface streets, and now we're just sitting on the highway going upwards of potentially 80 miles an hour or so. But again, the miles per hour ticker on the top right corner is a little off right now. So no, I mean, we obviously don't know how exactly this started and where, but as of right now, you know, this is the danger with having so many other cars on the street or on the highway.
We want to bring in retired LAPD pilot Dave Avila once again tonight. Second pursuit just tonight, Dave. And now we're hearing CHP has taken over this, but we're not seeing any units on the ground. The same is kind of what we saw with the last pursuit.
Yeah, exactly. They'll they go ahead and pull back, and hopefully they're trying to keep the suspect from going too crazy, even though we're looking at 100 miles per hour. But this was a Mission Division possible DUI suspect that took off on them. And of course, now we know that CHP has taken over, which is kind of the routine. So as long as he's heading south on the 5 freeway, and it's heading down towards downtown, we'll see what happens down there. But Dodge Charger, they can move out, so we'll see what he's doing now.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave? We're talking about the fact that officers actually did try to stop this. That's what you're hearing, right? They tried to stop this driver, and then they took off. Yeah,
it was a possible DUI, driving under the influence, and then he took off on them and ended up on the freeway. I don't know exactly where, but I understand it was. I've been told it was Mission Division.
Got it.
And right now it looks like I thought I saw that our graphic looks like he might have jumped on, or this driver might have jumped on the 10 westbound too. But this is sort of that part on the map, Dave, where you brought up before that, you know, it can stretch, these highways stretch for Lord knows how long, and you can really have any opportunity to shift directions and kind of keep this going potentially for as long as the vehicle has gas. No?
Yeah, exactly. That's why we've always been known as the leader in pursuits, and people ask why. I think they stop asking why. They know now because we have so many freeways that crisscross. We could go up north, we can go down to the border, which I've been over with an air unit on a pursuit. You know, where this guy goes or gal goes, we don't know yet, but see exactly what. Luckily, I haven't seen. Oh, go ahead.
No. Finish your thought.
I haven't seen them weaving, but doesn't mean that they're not under the influence of some type of drug. So that was from what I understand, that was the reason for the trying to hit them with the reds and getting them to pull over. But,
yeah, and I could be wrong on this, but I keep seeing them turn off their lights, and then they come back on,
and coming back on,
and they turn them off again here. So that does give you an indication that something's going on. This person does know, more than likely know that, you know, they're back on again. And then they'll go off. But this person does know they are being pursued. Obviously, that helicopter spotlight shining right down on them, despite us not seeing any CHP officers on the ground there.
Yeah, right. We've seen that before. So it kind of gets me because the CHP, as we've seen them before, are pretty aggressive. They stay right on them. So I'm thinking there's a reason why they're holding back. And I've seen that before where we were kind of wondering where they were, found out it was not this pursuit that we know of, but another pursuit where it was actually a possible a victim on board also.
It looks like
So
we have one
okay, there
approaching
we
here,
go.
Dave.
We got a black and white behind him now.
Yeah.
Oh, good. He's getting off the freeway, I hope.
Yeah,
well, you're not
right
gonna stop,
in
that's
the
for sure.
downtown area, though.
Looks like picking up speed too
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
moment, and now all of a sudden back here. And I mean,
Oof.
there's so many close calls so far, Dave. And normally, you know, we're not. It's a Sunday night, so you have a decent amount of traffic, especially in this part of town too. So all this weaving and speeding just right on by a motorcycle. I mean, goodness, it's frightening.
Yeah, and we've seen what happens at this speed when they 100 miles per hour, when they just tap another vehicle with a family in it, what that does to that vehicle will send them spinning just past up a black and white that looks like it's going to grab it.
Yeah, and it looked like if he's not going to go after him, he was just alerting drivers, hey, get out the way. This person's coming through. But take a look, just going in between vehicles, so narrowly missing some of these vehicles.
And wondering
thankfully,
if they're ever going to either get off. It looks like we might know, and instead of just kind of staying on the freeway at the moment, perhaps. But yeah, it's the most frightening part is just the constant weaving across traffic and these narrow, very close calls with other vehicles.
yeah, we're in the part of downtown LA where I feel like all the freeways start to crisscross, and now the driver, I believe, is on the 110. Through the downtown area, but just going in between vehicles as this person trying to get away. Again, the want is a possible DUI driver. And so how much control they have, we don't know.
And on top of this, there's not any sort of real consistency. At least maybe that's not the right word, Dave. But you know, we're on the 5, then on the 10 west, and now coming back up toward the 110 north. So you're kind of almost making a circle around downtown. And at this point, just kind of keeps this going on the freeways.
They seem to be pretty comfortable. I mean, they haven't hit anywhere where they had to get off and make a U-turn or anything like that. So, I mean, I would think they're pretty familiar with our freeway system. So they got their lights off again.
Yeah, it looks like they're probably going to get on the 101, or they're getting off there. It looks. And this is going to be a difficult area for our helicopter because of all the buildings in the downtown area. Looks like they're getting off on 4th Street here.
And this is where you really notice the lights out.
The lights out. They're going to turn it back on.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see our air units overhead. They'll try and squeeze in between the buildings, above them, not between them, and stay with them. He looks like he's heading. Well, this is west, but I'm not real sure about that.
Yeah, and take a look. You see them going to make a right-hand turn here. Oh, no, they're not.
Just really using that to weave out of traffic again, because there was that bit of a congestion at the light. And now curious to see, what happens here, right? Because now you have to deal with traffic. Fortunately, the speeds have slowed down, but of course, with people out and about and other cars, you're worried about damage and anything else that could happen on a moment's notice. And right here, another example of the building is kind of getting in the way of the vantage point. It's kind of the situation we're stuck in right now, Dave.
Yeah, I think the area, usually you can maneuver that helicopter where you stay right over the street. You just get behind them. You just a little left. Well, you can configure the helicopter where you could just stay right behind them and stay over that street. So hopefully that's what they're doing. In fact, they probably are, because I haven't seen them come through our shot yet. Yeah,
very dangerous situation. We saw, they are really slowing down here, and looks like they may be stopping.
At least pulling off the, okay, well.
Oh, no. Going to go ahead and get right back in and pick up speed a little bit there.
Just the way they veered off almost made it seem like either they were going into a building or at least kind of using that as a
lot of times, Dave, we do say downtown is where pursuits come to die, because it just is so hard for our helicopters to maneuver through here. And sometimes we do see these suspects go into garage.
Under the overpasses too,
right.
Just kind of trying to avoid those vantage points, right, Dave, for helicopters and everybody else.
It might be that's what he's looking for. I mean, I think he was just trying to figure out what he was going to do when he pulled to the side there. He may have thought maybe of just bailing and taking off out of that thing and running. But so far, I have no idea how many suspects, or we know we got the driver, but I don't know if there's multiple individuals in that vehicle.
Yeah, and Dave, you've covered so many of these in your career. Many times these drivers don't have a plan, do they?
No, no. And you can usually tell, and we've all seen it, where they, they circle a neighborhood, and you think, okay, they're just waiting for the opportunity to dump that vehicle and then take off on foot, and then look for a friend's house to hide in. But this suspect here, no. Okay, now we're speeding. Now
Oh,
we're
boy,
up to
yeah.
80 miles per hour.
This is the terrifying part, especially because
Yes.
those are highway freeway speeds going in, an area where we've already seen pedestrians cross the road. We've seen cars sort of going at their regular rate of speed, and we've had a lot of close calls already. So and once again, it looks like the lights are off on the vehicle. It just kind of looked that way. And now wrong
Now
way
they're gonna
traffic too.
Bypass
Yes.
vehicles.
It's really tight.
Yes. So the factors that they're going to try to they consider always, as we've talked about before, the public safety, nature of the fence. So are we going to stay on it? And it looks like they are. We think of officer safety, and that's why we have the air unit overhead, just to help the officers. Like the other pursuit, where the other units are in the vicinity, but they may have been told just to track it for now. So I think that might be it, because it looks like he kind of knows where he's going now.
And we haven't seen any of those, patrol units or law enforcement vehicles directly behind. So to your point, Dave, it looks like they might have backed off a little bit and try to de-escalate the situation a bit. But similar to that last pursuit when we were talking, that helicopter and that chopper light, its spotlight is directly overhead. They're not losing sight of this thing right now. Yeah,
and the air unit is broadcasting, direction of the vehicle. Also, when they go into another division, the air unit will go ahead and switch, might just switch frequencies and tell them, hey, okay, we're on a pursuit. That black and white just passed by. So I'm trying to think of the location where they're at. I want to say it's I think they went to Hollenbeck, but I'm not real sure here.
Okay, they're in the Boyle Heights area. I think going to get back on the freeway here. Take a look on the 5 northbound.
Yes.
With lights off once again, and you see that spotlight still trying to keep track of them. They got them right there. And again, the lights are off as this possible DUI driver continues to just squeeze through lanes, squeeze through some of this traffic here, and pick up speed.
On a pursuit that, when we broke in, started on the 5 southbound, and now we've circled essentially all the way back toward north, at least for the moment. But now looks like we're sitting on the 10. But it's, I wonder what the word is to describe here. You used it earlier, Dave. Was it comfort? Like they seem to know what they're doing, but that of course doesn't make it any less dangerous, because you're getting up to speeds of 100 miles an hour now, jumping back on the freeway, and there's a number of cars already. We're seeing a lot of close calls here.
Yes, we got. Let's see, it's like eastbound to 10, so it's wide. Going to be wide open for a Sunday night. This time of night, it's 9:30, so it's kind of opened up right now.
Yeah, but still squeezing through so many of these innocent drivers on the roadway, and it's always so hard to see as we do track these pursuits and call them out for everyone, because they have pulled off those ground units for now. And that is a tactic, as we've been talking about, we see a lot, but that helicopter keeping its eye on that vehicle, as you wonder, what's the next move?
And the concern too is because typically with these pursuits, if you have the units directly behind with their lights on, with that's giving a strong alert to other drivers on the freeway. Hey, let's move out of the way. Just an FYI as to what's going on. When you don't have that, then it heightens the concern for drivers, because maybe at the last second, especially if this it looks like the lights are not on right now, or even when they were off, all of a sudden the next thing you see is a speeding car sort of just buzzing by you, and it's terrifying on a number of levels. Yeah. I mean, we've all been there on the freeway, and somebody goes speeding by us. They're not even being pursued, but they just feel like they have to go fast. And right now, it looks like he's heading back towards the valley. If he's northbound the 5 freeway, he went through
Hollenbeck division, so he's going to be heading up towards, well, still Hollenbeck, but up towards Cypress area, Pasadena. Well, I take that back. No, from what I can tell, he would just be continuing on the 5 freeway.
Yeah.
That will take him right up to Burbank.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, what we know, again, we have Dave Avila on the phone with us, but we know this is a possible DUI driver. It was LAPD's Mission Division that tried to stop this vehicle first. CHP then took over when it got on the freeway here. We've seen this driver go through pretty much all the freeways around downtown LA, including
big circle.
the downtown area. And yeah, you're right, Gio. He pretty much, or this person, I shouldn't say he. We do not know that. This person, this driver, did make a big circle around downtown LA, went through some of the downtown LA streets, and at one point we saw them actually slow down, pull over, and keep going, but take a look, just weaving in and out of traffic.
Same exact sort of routine that we saw on those surface streets there in the downtown area, where you're still having a lot of close calls with pedestrians crossing the road, with cars, whether they were parked on the side of the road or otherwise just in regular Sunday night traffic, just kind of avoiding the situation with this vehicle. And yeah, they don't have their lights on, and that's been sort of an on and off thing throughout the evening as we've kept an eye on this one, which makes it all the more dangerous on top of how dangerous it already is. But it looks, did we get on the
Yeah,
on the two here?
on the Glendale Freeway, yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And that's going to take them straight up there where we were talking about, Salenta Hunk area. And then what they can do is grab the 118 and head back towards Mission Division.
Yeah,
And
and
that
you
might be
wonder
what
if
they're
that's the
planning.
plan is right now. Although for a moment there, it didn't seem like there was any plan when we were going through some of those
No.
streets of downtown LA there. But again, the lights continue to stay off. We've seen them occasionally flicker back on. We're still not seeing any units there on the ground, but speeds continue to pick up with this driver.
And also worth noting too, we still don't know how many more people, if there are any more people besides just the driver in this vehicle right now. So again, we keep comparing it to the previous pursuit where we had 4 people jump out of a vehicle at the end of it, but this one, just remains consistent. I almost lost track of it just now because
it's going so fast, and with the lights
Yeah.
off, you can't even make it out.
No.
Really, when the freeway gets so dark. Oh my goodness.
And Dave, again, you mentioned this earlier too, but worth a reminder, this is a vehicle that has some serious horsepower to it as well.
Good to know.
Yeah. It can get up there. 100's nothing for this vehicle. I mean, he'll just keep driving, and once he punches it, he can just keep going. But having to weave around these vehicles, he hasn't been able to do that. But as you mentioned, Leslie, I mean, he's weaving. He gets real close to some of those vehicles. So, and that might be one of the reasons why CHP is not on his tail, because it may turn that 100 to 150, which looks like it's indicating right now, which is nothing for this vehicle. So you got the area on overhead. It's broadcasting to everybody where this vehicle is at.
Losing a little bit of traction
scary.
there. And when the freeway gets dark again, it is hard to make out where this driver is. You can barely make out the vehicle there.
Also on top of it too, as you keep going, it looks like we're continuing northbound. If we're staying on the 2, past Eagle Rock, Glendale to the west, like if you keep going north, you're gonna get toward the 210 and locking out of Flint Ridge, or maybe they jump on the 134 to go east or westbound. But it's a lot darker up, the further north you get here compared to what we saw just a few minutes ago when you're closer to downtown and you have a lot more sort of surrounding lights, so to speak.
Yeah, just making a note here. Do we see the helicopter spotlight anymore?
No, I have not. And I was wondering what's going on with that. I don't know if they've had to pull off for fuel. Usually they get another air unit on it. No, it looks like he's going to go westbound to 210.
And on top of that, on top of all of that, Dave, too, it's almost like, because we don't have the spotlight overhead, obviously SkyCal doing a good job of keeping up with this vehicle and maintaining our vantage point on it, but you really sort of see the flickers of it when it starts passing by all of these other cars that are on the freeway through their lights, because again, those lights are not on this vehicle. The brake lights will pop on from time to time, but otherwise it's just sort of a blur.
Yeah. It's the most dangerous thing seen in a while. They just, no consideration for the other people on the freeway. their main focus right now, or their focus right now is just to get away, which they're not. But they, especially where they're heading now, I mean, because that's wide open space. I mean, we got cities, we got Foothill Division coming up. In fact, Foothill may be to the right to the top of the screen once we get a little bit further west.
Yeah, and it looks like for now, Gio, do you see the car? It looks like we may have lost track of that vehicle. Our chopper is pulled off just a bit, but we are hearing that LAPD air units are still up above despite not seeing that spotlight.
Yeah, and that's the news we were just getting in our ears while we were trying to look back toward this vehicle. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just they don't have their lights on. You have some trees and everything else sort of covering it a bit. So we'll give it a moment to see if we can get back on top
and you see the spotlight
of this vehicle. Right, it just sort of flickered just across there, but. You know, that's it. This is the danger, right? Where you have this time of night, and then this thing is speeding through at an incredibly long stretch of time now, since we've been keeping an eye on this situation. What started on the 5 southbound, looping back around north, and now just exceeding 100+ miles an hour with no lights on. It just you're terrified at every moment. It starts getting a close call by another vehicle, or at certain points earlier, but pedestrians and surface street traffic. But yeah, it looks like we're not finding it at the moment, so we'll continue to keep our eye out for it.
And it's hard to know if this driver did end up turning on their lights. It was just simply this vehicle was going so fast as our chopper was trying to keep up.
The air unit was overhead, so they may have just shut down their nights on and followed with the FLIR, just to see if that would slow them down, or that the suspect slowed them down. I've seen it go through the shot here a little while ago, so maybe a little bit further west.
And you know what, our pilot up there, as well as our photographer, they're able to hear a lot of that air traffic from LAPD's helicopters. So if they still have the vehicle that they are pursuing and tracking, we'll be able to find that. But right now it looks like we're still looking in this same area here on the 210 westbound. That's the last place we saw that vehicle, the want of that driver, possible DUI.
So we'll obviously continue to monitor the situation. Once we find the vehicle and get back on top of it, we will circle back. Though I'm curious if we're zooming in here, because that does look like the back of a Dodge Charger vehicle that we were looking, right, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, they got that long red light that goes all the way across, and this guy is smoking right here. He's really moving out.
And we know it was, if we can verify it possibly being that maroon color, that's a little odd. We don't see those very often.
No,
but it's hard to note if this exactly is that vehicle. It's getting off the freeway here,
and of course, we're trying to. We're not just presuming that any Dodge Charger that we stumble upon here is the exact one that we were looking for earlier in this pursuit. But as we maintain our eye over this one and continue to gather more information, we'll also note the fact that, if this is the vehicle, it's the slowest we've seen in quite some time. And
it's hard to make out if that's
it almost does look
color.
like it is the maroon color, perhaps, but. And this is the other thing, Dave, as we continue to wait to confirm here, it feels pretty confident that this is the one. But at the same time, this has been going on for so long, Dave, you wonder if the suspect perhaps thinks they, maybe a false sense of security, or maybe they think they finally kind of sort of beaten the tail, so to speak, on everything that's been going on tonight.
Yes. So
well, that definitely seems like that person, as they're now just making that sharp right turn when they were not in the turn lane there, through the Montrose area, the downtown Montrose area.
Yeah, that turn, Leslie, that was made at the last second. I mean, they weren't really planning on going that way, but kind of turning real sharp, like you said, from the wrong lane. And here we go on the wrong side of the road again, especially in these dark streets. This is all
blowing through stop signs.
Residential.
Yeah, this is definitely that vehicle. Correct me, guys. Were we not going westbound on the 210 at one point?
It seemed that way, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then this person came back eastbound?
I believe so.
Okay. So it's
I
some.
believe so. I mean, just I'm familiar with that area. So when I was watching it, I'm just trying to think of what street he could have got, or they could have got off of to negotiate a 180 to come back eastbound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my question. It looks like
Pulling
they're
into a
turning
gas
into a
station.
gas station. Yeah.
At some point, and we don't obviously know how much gas was left in this vehicle when this pursuit just started, but you've been burning through quite a lot, and this isn't exactly the most fuel efficient car either. So let's see what happens at this moment. And okay, well,
okay.
no, that's not the vehicle, and it's just still kind of sitting down
Okay,
there.
someone's inside that store there, the convenience store. You saw someone go in.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a person.
And obviously our vantage point is covered by the roof of this, so we'll just hang out for a second and wait. But we have not seen that Charger exit out of this.
Is it right there?
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
it's
the
right
one
there.
right there.
It's maroon.
Yep.
Don't see a plate.
No. And as we sort of
front
maneuvering
plate
around.
there.
The black hood.
Oh,
Very
it looks
unusual.
like someone's
door
opened
just
the
opened.
passenger side door. The back
And the back passenger door
passenger
too
door.
is open.
And by the way, kudos to your air crew. They're doing an
Oh, look,
outstanding
take a
job.
look. There's a driver there.
Yeah,
He's
oh,
trying to put gas.
trying
He's
to
trying to
gas
gas
up.
up the vehicle.
Certainly need that, considering
Does he have a mask on?
a hood is
A
up for
hood.
sure.
He has a hood
Hood.
on, and there looks to be multiple people in this car because the back
Yeah.
passenger door is open, and we saw
Yeah,
the
it's closed.
passenger door also open.
At least one other person now we can confirm, aside from just the driver.
They
is
are
in this
pumping
vehicle.
gas at this moment. So if police were to show up,
They'd have them.
yeah, as long as they don't take off with the pump there.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
The way that he ran over there, he put the hose in the vehicle, and then he was looking left, right, jumped inside. I believe that's our.
yeah. It's probably, again, we're at this point we're speculating as to the exact process of the car getting to this gas station. Driver jumps out, goes almost perhaps to the desk to, I don't know, put 20 on whichever pump, and then come back out and start filling up. But
Right.
yeah, there you go. Now they're
There you go.
removing
Just pulled
it.
it out, didn't even put it
looked like
back
a
in.
Mask, like
And
a
there you go.
COVID type mask.
Okay, you're seeing possibly a mask?
Yeah,
No
like a
lights.
COVID.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
okay.
Okay,
No
back to the
lights.
freeway.
We're gonna get back on, and now at this point, we don't know how much gas is in there.
No, and the pump was just left, so they've just sort of took their pit stop, and now here we go again with the light, and there's the spotlight triggered back
Yeah.
on.
Come on, let's light that boy up.
I know it's hard to see that. They were able to stop for a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, units on the ground, pulled off because this was just simply too dangerous.
Right.
The
Yeah, you get
speeds-
to that point, like we were talking about earlier. They get to that point where they have to judge whether or not it's worth the risk.
And you would obviously
opposite side of the road
the
now.
opposite side of the
Opposite
road,
side of the road.
and the officers obviously wouldn't know that a potential suspect
Okay,
was
gonna
going to
make
be
a U-turn
pulling
here.
off into a gas station as we make this U-turn and just this driver trying to figure things out. And we also don't know how it plays into a possible passenger in the back seat or multiple
Yeah.
passengers in the back seat, sort of coordinating amongst themselves
Oh,
as to
take a
the
look. There
the
you
next
go.
thing.
Some of those ground units. There's about 3 of them there. I believe CHP Altadena at one point did take over this, so I believe those are units from the CHP Altadena division. But we will see if they will continue on the tail of this vehicle as it's once again picking up speed. And the
Yeah.
question right now is how
yeah.
many people are in this vehicle?
Right.
Yeah, and where that suspect, people might say, well, where's the police? It's they're in the middle of nowhere, no man's land as far as black and whites. I mean, you got Foothill Division, which is miles up the road. Pasadena, forget it, they're so far back. So they were looking where they got a spot where they could get out, gas up, and then get back on the road again. So at least we got some CHP units. I hope they're behind them. We
Yeah.
still have our air unit. That's good. So the air unit's probably following them with the FLIR system.
Yeah, and we're being told by our executive producer that the driver did go in, pay for gas, and we saw them come back out and gas up, leave the pump behind, not even put it back in, and then just take off. So it puts us in this position where we brought up earlier, Dave, that this is a car with significant horsepower. And now that you've gassed it up, it's sort of juiced it up to a degree where this could go on for a bit. Now, we didn't see them stay there for a significantly long time.
Yeah.
But it's also not a pickup truck or a massive SUV.
No.
So even just a few minutes or a couple of minutes could give them at least a bit of a boost to keep this going for a little while longer.
But man, these speeds, Dave, they are picking up. I don't know if our speed radar is correct on that, but we're hitting upwards of 120. And at some points, because the lights are off, you just see this thing like zooming by all the vehicles, all these innocent drivers.
Yeah, like Gio said, it definitely has the capability of reaching those speeds.
And at those speeds too, Dave, it handles well on top of it too, because normally in other pursuits we see vehicles get upwards of 100 miles an hour and the handling just is off, and you start seeing shaking and uncontrollable nature of the vehicle. But this car is almost designed at certain points to be able to manage at excessive speeds.
Yeah, it definitely has the tires for it too. I don't know if they're Eagle GTs or not, but that's kind of like a semi-race type tire that they used to put on them. I'm not sure if they do anymore. I'm sure they're more advanced, but it can take these corners pretty well. I haven't seen one skid. He just goes flying around those corners.
Yeah,
and just keeps it going.
Only at one point did we see them possibly lose a little bit of traction there.
Yep.
But take a look. We're now in a neighborhood.
And very dark. Lights still off.
Very dark. You can't make out.
It stopped. Oh, and the lights are out. It looks like the doors are open. Yep.
Doors are open. People are getting out.
You see sort of flashes of phone lights.
At least one person.
I think
running.
I saw it. Yeah, at least two.
Yeah, you can see
right?
one, two, three, four.
Four.
Yeah, wow.
Counting 4 people.
But they're not splitting up, is what it looks like. And even just in the dark, it looked like they were all huddled together.
I think they have somewhere where they're going that they know of.
Yeah, it looked very comfortable.
It just surprises me that they would put gas if they were going that close. I mean, they're staying together.
Yeah.
I just wish we could get that night sun on them.
Yeah, but there you go. 1, 2. Oh, light comes on. Well, I count at least 3. That's for sure.
Yeah,
there.
At least 3. At one point, I thought I counted 4.
Right.
This is a pretty dark neighborhood here.
Yeah, there's 1. There's 2. There's 3.
At least 3 are keeping up with each other.
Right.
And so you got to wonder.
How far behind?
How far behind those ground units were?
Yes.
And of course, where are these people headed? Are they headed to a home nearby? Is this a neighborhood they know?
They certainly are moving, or at least based on what we could tell in the dark, moving with a sense of purpose.
Yeah, you can see one of the phones still flashing there occasionally. I know it's hard to make out, but if you're just tuning in, we were over a pursuit that went through downtown LA and other parts, and now ending up here in the North Arroyo area.
I believe at the bottom of your screen there.
Yeah, and you see all those
and over there as well. There
blue and
they
red
are.
lights there.
You know, it tells me that the air units overhead, I'm sure they're using their FLIR system and they're directing these officers in, because they definitely wouldn't know where they ran to.
So there's 2 officers here, but we know possibly 3, maybe 4 people.
Yeah, bailed out of that car once they pulled off in this neighborhood on Del Monte Street and Forest Ave. Officers, being cautious, looking around. This is the best bit of light we've been able to get in the last couple of minutes. Skycat was able to keep a close eye on those, 3 or 4 that bailed out of the Charger, and we don't know where exactly they went. We just know this is a residential area, lots of homes.
Take a look. You can see they are getting them down on the ground. It looks like 1, 2 people. I saw what looked like a woman maybe carrying a purse there.
And it looks like the other officer's got his weapon set up on somebody else.
And more units showing up here. Some police units here showing up to back up those CHP officers.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, I'm counting now 3 on the ground.
1, 2.
We thought we maybe saw 4, but we're unsure of that number.
Yeah, at first, no, I agree, Leslie. To me, I pretty sure I seen 4, and then all of a sudden 1 peeled off, and now we just ended with 3. But that's great, because you get them in custody, you separate them at the station, and they'll start talking.
Right. Yeah, we're being told at least 3 for sure. Being corralled here by law enforcement. Trying to get a look around the tree here, see if we see another one, and it looks like Okay, we still have, this is the immediate sort of group, so that 1, 2, and 3, yes. Okay, so we're counting 3 here. Don't know where that
Okay.
possible fourth or so has
Yeah,
Looks
possible.
like, what, one female? Maybe 2 males. Can't make that out yet, though.
No.
You know, remember what I had said? I go, there's just something about the chippies where they weren't following that close to them, and by the way that they're covering these suspects, they have the arrest team. It's a procedure where you have the arrest team walk up on the suspect, where you have officers with their weapons out in case the suspect rolls around with the weapon and pulls it out of their waistband. So they were extremely cautious with these suspects. They always will be. But I'm just wondering if they're tied to some type of robbery or something like that, because it's just a little unusual in this pursuit.
Yeah, that looks like the driver possibly wearing
yeah.
all black. That earlier, if we
'Cause we
can
were
bring up
seeing
that video,
at the gas
when
station.
this car actually
Right
stopped
here.
at that gas station, that person you see got out, began pumping gas. What you
Yep.
don't see is that we did see that person go inside the
Yep.
convenience store, possibly
Yep.
pay for the gas, come out, begin pumping it, get in the car for a
Yep.
couple minutes there,
Yeah,
what
and-
seemed like a good long while.
Yeah, enough to juice up the car by a decent amount. And then, you know, after a couple minutes pass or so, that person, the driver, then gets out again, removes the pump from the car, leaves it behind, doesn't put it back in, and then car takes off, leading us into the situation where we are now, where it pulls off into this neighborhood, lights were already off on the car, and then all of the people inside of the vehicle just open doors, take off. Now, but they were huddled together. That's the one distinction as well. Normally we see everyone disperse, but in this case we saw the majority of them at least stay close behind each other.
When we had the air unit, that when I mentioned that they may be swapping air units, it was Pasadena that LA pulled off. Pasadena air unit was the one that was overhead, and they were following them. And then, and then the CHP airplane is overhead at 7,000 feet.
Okay.
So they were keeping an eye, and they had direct contact with the ground officers, obviously. That's why those CHP officers just rolled right into the suspects, where I was thinking it was a helicopter with the FLIR, but it was their airplane that was overhead.
That makes sense. And at the one point, we thought we lost the vehicle because it was going so fast.
Right.
Ended up finding it, and we know law enforcement was over it the entire time. And take a look. I think they have 4
Counting
people
1
in
to the
custody.
left.
Okay, 1.
And then 2, I believe, right here at this particular vehicle.
Okay.
So at least 3, we know that for sure. Still haven't seen if there is a 4th and whether or not they have a potential 4th person in custody. But overall, it finally puts starting to put a bow on this very chaotic situation, because Dave, we were, I mean, we lost count of the number of close calls we had both on surface streets and on the freeway, with this car weaving in and out of traffic upwards of over 100 miles an hour.
Right. I mean, this was such a perfect example on how all the departments work together. CHP, LAPD, Pasadena P here, the Chippies Air Unit overhead. It's just a really, really good job.
Yeah, we were following this one for quite some time through some pretty crowded areas, including downtown LA, and it's coming to an end with really the suspects all trying to make a run for it and then giving up quite quickly when officers were able to get to them. But for now, we are going to work to just make sure we get more information and see possibly what if it in fact was 3 people that were in that vehicle, or if they're looking for one more, or if they have everyone arrested. But yeah, I think I made out 2 females and 1 male, but an odd one, because I have yet to really see in quite some time someone stop for gas in the middle of a pursuit and then keep going.
Right. Yeah, that's why I was kind of surprised that they abandoned the vehicle so soon. I thought, well, they knew they were going to abandon it there. But once they did and they started running, it was kind of like I don't think they really knew where they were going. They were just wanting to get away from the vehicle. But the idea that they stuck together, and once again, kudos to your air unit, the takeout helicopter. They did a fantastic job. I hope they're hearing me.
Yeah, John Schreiber staying on top of that.
It was a tight call there for just a bit, and for just at least we have some sort of happy ending, so to speak. But